Good evening. I am Miriam Abdul-Kawi, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News tonight. A doctor killed on his way to work in Belmopan and in front of his 5-year-old daughter. We'll tell you about the execution of Dr. Naum Bonilla and what the loss means for the community. Plus, Elmer Na, guilty of triple murder. You'll hear a reaction from the Ramna Reis family. Also, we'll talk to the Prime Minister about a whole range of subjects. And the former CEO of the National Bus Company tells us why she left. These stories and much more are ahead on 7 News tonight, so please stay tuned.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Our story was built by people, neighbors helping neighbors, standing side by side with those who trust us to protect what matters most and help build our communities. Being there when needed most. Across borders, across generations. Still growing, still giving, still just getting started after 185 years.
Easy. Accessible. Safe. Yours. Digi Wallet. Easy, accessible, safe, yours.
All your special moments deserve a special place. Book now and save 50% on accommodations and 20% on spa. Only at Naya Resort and Spa.
Look here, your kitchen light there and I've been in the kitchen. Mama going back in there right now. And the coffee maker?
Just to try keep the coffee warm for later.
Where do you know?
I'll try think about what to eat.
You know the more you open or close the fridge, it takes longer for the food cool.
Uh-huh.
For a hot day like today, it burns more energy. You to charge your phone right now?
No.
Plug it out then. You really only wash 2 socks and 1 shirt? You don't know what small load burn the same amount of electricity as large loads?
But this is my favorite shirt.
You have to be more energy efficient. Use large loads. This AC, they blow hard. You know, if you keep the temperature at 25 degrees Celsius or higher, you burn less energy and you also keep the place cool. And for a nice day like today, turn off the AC, open up the house, and make some fresh breeze come in.
You know what? I think I get it now. As consumers, we need to be more energy efficient and practice energy conservation.
At Sbarro, every pizza starts with the freshest ingredients, handmade just for you. Enjoy fast, seamless service. Hot, fresh, and ready to go. Sbarro, Club of the Slice. XL sizes for whole and sliced pizzas, ready whenever you are. Closer to you than ever, now with 2 locations. Sbarro in Publix Coney Drive and Sbarro in Publix Express next to Transparent BPO. Same great pizza, twice the convenience.
As a small business, I started to attend pop-up shops like many other businesses, and we found that our customers wanted to pay by card and not cash. I went to Atlantic Bank, and immediately, without a problem, it's like, yes, you can have a POS system. That POS system we now use in-house, and we can also take it countrywide wherever we are. They were willing to take the time, they were willing to be patient with us as we grew our business, and that, for us, that meant the world.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sun Up on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your nation station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
You're up.
These charter winds aren't from
We're
an
navigating
airplane.
along the coastline.
This morning,
of
the
northern
2023
Lagoon in the
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Shireen Tulsel,
And here's what's ahead for you on 7 News Tonight.
We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight. Good evening. With your news, I'm in Craft.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7. Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
We begin our newscast with one of our top stories this evening, where the workday had just begun when the Belmopan community was struck by the news of the vicious and brazen murder of a well-known internist, Dr. Naum Bonilla. He was on his way to drop his daughter off at school before heading to work when he was ambushed and executed. It's a tragedy that has not only devastated Bonilla's loved ones, but also confused them. Why would anyone take the life of someone dedicated to saving the lives of others? That's the question his patients are asking as they mourn the death of the gentle doctor too. And his colleagues are also wrestling with losing their main internist and friend. Our very own Courtney Menzies went west today and spoke with his supervisor. Here's that story.
At 8:30 this morning, 37-year-old Dr. Naum Bonilla put his 5-year-old daughter in the backseat of his vehicle and headed out. He would have only made it to the corner of his quiet Las Flores community when he was ambushed, blocked by another vehicle. A masked gunman then got out and fired up to 8 shots, killing him instantly. His vehicle veered into this drain and caused this wall of cinder blocks to buckle. All this mayhem playing out across the street from a park, nestled between swaying trees, a scene of horrifying violence in an otherwise tranquil residential area. Dr. Bonilla's colleagues were expecting him to arrive at work at Belmopan Medical Imaging Center at 9, but were met with the devastating news instead. His supervisor told us that it's a massive loss, not just to the establishment, but the entire community.
Here, he, in addition to being our main internist or main clinician that we turn to, he has been a very dear friend to all members of the staff. I would like to remember Dr. Bonilla as not just any young doctor. As a director, I observed him and I saw him as very active. His practice was extremely active. He had a large following. His patients saw in him a very compassionate, charismatic, loving, attentive individual. For me, the difference that I saw in him was that he would spend at least an hour with each patient, allowing them to speak to him, going over all the details he needed to go over, going over their labs, trying to fine-tune diagnosis, and giving to them his advice. That is what people loved in him.
She lamented the fact that Dr. Bonilla sacrificed years of his life to save others, only to have his taken away so callously.
Dr. Bonilla, I met him 8 years ago when he had just graduated as an internist and came here with us looking for extra hours in the afternoons and in the evenings. He was working at that time as well at Western Regional Hospital as the internist there. He stayed there for many years as well. In addition, Dr. Bonilla has a community at Las Flores. He has a clinic, not at Las Flores, at a Valley of Peace, where he serves a big community out there. I am pretty certain that that community will miss him very much. What happened this morning, there is no words for it. Crime and violence in our Belizean community there's no place in any aspect of our community for this crime and violence. And more so, touching the medical community, it's the last straw. It is really shocking. When a young person goes away to be trained as a doctor, you're giving the prime years of your young life to train, to come back to your country, to give service and to save lives, not to come back and have your life taken away and in front of your child. This is the lowest it has gotten, and it is saddening for all of us.
And Dr. Smith added that, as far as she knew, Dr. Bonilla did not express that Dr. Smith, his reach went further than just Belmopan.
He goes to different clinics to give his internist medical imaging. They go at his clinic in Valley of Peace.
In any nefarious activities. ASP Stacy Smith spoke with us via Zoom today with more details.
Bonilla was on board his vehicle on Ramirez Avenue when his vehicle was overtaken by another vehicle which stopped in front of Dr. Bonilla's vehicle. An armed male person is reported to have exited that vehicle and fired several shots, which resulted in the fatal injury of Dr. Bonilla. Police have retrieved a number of video footage, which we believe will be of use to this ongoing investigation. The investigators are also following up on two leads as it relates to motive, neither of which suggests Dr. Bonilla's involvement in the nefarious activities.
Is one of the motives related to a civil case that Dr. Bonilla had against a business partner of his?
The information that we have disclosed is the extent to which we wish to disclose. As I believe you can appreciate, it's an ongoing investigation, and we don't want to speak too much in such a way that it may prejudice the investigation.
The Ministry of Health, the BMDA, and the Garden City Medical Center all issued statements of condolences to his family and friends. Meanwhile, justice prevailed for the Ramnareis and Bilal families in the courtroom today after a guilty verdict was delivered to Elmer Na for the murders of John, David, and Vivian Ramnareis. Our very own Jo Marie Lanza was there as the family anxiously waited to hear if the evidence was enough to support Na's conviction. Here's that story.
Gathered outside the Belize City High Court this afternoon, the family of John, David, and Vivian Ramnareis finally faced the verdict that they have spent the last 3 years waiting for. Justice prevailed for the family after spending 3 hours reading a 60-page judgment. The accused, Elmer Na, was found guilty for the murders of John, David, and Vivian Ramnareis, and the attempted murder of Yemi Alberto. Vivian's sister, who spoke on behalf of the family, says that while the verdict was the one they had hoped for, nothing will be able to change or bring back their loved ones.
We're overwhelmed, grateful, thankful. Vivian really played the most significant role in convicting her murderer and her husband's murderer and her brother-in-law's murderer. So, as much as we are thankful today, we are still, I guess, overwhelmed because despite this victory,
we're still without our daughter.
We're still without Vivian.
What was the family's worst fear coming into this trial?
That he was acquitted, because she was in her right state of mind. Vivian never lost her mental faculties, and that was our greatest fear, that knowing that she didn't name him, but she described him and identified him, and if he had gotten away with that, I don't know how we may take that, because at the end of the day, a child is left without a mother and father. So as much as we are grateful today that, he has been convicted, the damage has already been done. A child has to grow up the rest of their life without a mama and pa, but I'm just glad that justice was served, especially for her today, and I'm proud of my sister. I'm very proud of her. She was fearless. She was brave. very, very brave, you know, and to God be the glory.
It was Vivian's statement and the video evidence that sealed the verdict for Na. The judge, in his statement, declared her to be an honest and reliable witness, despite her delicate condition at that time.
Because he said Vivian was an honest witness, and Vivian has no reason to lie, you know. Vivian was always a principled woman, you know. I am always amazed. She has always been a good influence to me in my entire life. I've only known her to be a woman of good principles and integrity. So that's what she displayed, and, you know, thank God for everything.
And while the family will be able to walk away with one weight off their shoulders, Bilal says that they're also prepared in the event that Na appeals.
Na is always staring down the family. Me especially, because I don't know if you've seen pictures of her, I resemble her a lot. So I always said even if he got acquitted, I know that it's him just from his body language and the way he looks at me every time he sees me. I know he's looking at Vivian when he sees me.
Do you fear an appeal?
I know that is coming, but you know, we are in it for the long haul, and we're here for however long. It's been hard, but thank God for a supportive family. We come from a very, very big Christian family, and honestly, it's prayers and the love from our family that has kept us going. And so we give thanks to the Pascasias and the Bilals, and we give thanks to God Almighty, you know, and it's our faith in Him that has kept us throughout this entire time.
Jomari Lanza, 7 News.
Na's sentencing is scheduled for June 18th. Meanwhile, in police news, police have taken 116 firearms off the street so far this year. The latest bust occurred this week during a countrywide operation. Officers also made a cocaine bust in the Kings Park area. ASP Smith told us more.
As a consequence of targeted anti-drug operation by Eastern Division personnel, police have formally arrested and charged Corey Utley and Teresa Utley of Vasquez Avenue, Kings Park, Belize City, for the offense of possession of controlled drugs with intent to supply. This follows police's discovery of 154 grams of suspected cocaine during a search of their residence. During the week of 25th to 29th May 2026, countrywide anti-drugs and weapons operations were conducted by the various specialized units of the police department, as well as the different formations across the country of Belize. As a consequence of these operations, a total of 10 firearms consisting of 5 9mm caliber pistol, 1.22 caliber pistol, 3.38 revolver, and 1 AR-15 rifle were seized. Bring the total amount of weapons and ammunition seized by the department since the beginning of the year to 116 firearms of different calibers, 3,724 rounds of ammunition, and the number of persons arrested for firearm and ammunition-related offenses to 109.
And we take our first break now, but when we come back, we'll talk to the Prime Minister about a wide array of subjects, from the shutdown of LIU to the touchy subject of customs transfers. And later on in the newscast, we'll take you to the Chickaboo Forest to see the new Ranger base. Stay tuned for more news.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Smart for everybody. Smart leading everything. Smart give you everything. Smart offer everything. Smart give you everything. North to the east and the south and the west. Smart are the best. Darling, double up my data and give me all the text. In fact, give me a plan for my family. Unlimited calls so me like it. And Smart make everybody feel happy. Bringing people together, me want it now. Smart got love for everybody. Me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. Me want my Smart plan. Want it right right now. More bundles, data plan, me want my smartphone, internet in my hand. Call me, want my smart plan, want it right now. Smart, stay connected, stay happy.
The roads of Belize connect us all. Riders, drivers, families, friends. Every day begins with a little routine and the confidence that life's journeys are protected. From school drop-off through the daily grind and everything in between, each with different roads ahead, yet one common goal: to arrive safely. Atlantic Insurance stands with Belize's riders and motorists with affordable protection, support, and peace of mind for the journey ahead. For the roads we share and the lives we protect, Atlantic Insurance is by your side, insuring you from life's unexpected. Atlantic Insurance, insuring you from life's unexpected.
Nando's Wholesale is the distributor for the full line of Badia spices, including the original complete seasoning, the perfect combination of ingredients and spices prepared to enhance the natural flavor of your favorite foods. Also, cinnamon powder for all your desserts, fruits, and beverages, and as special dishes. All these are available in commercial sizes or restaurant packaging. Nando's products are available at your local retailer or contact us at 222-5000. From Corozal to Toledo, Nando's is proud to be serving Belize as its #1 wholesale distributor for over 35 years.
Maria's was planned to open in 2020, and that's when COVID came. I thought the dream was dead. People would come to my house, they would purchase the coffees from there. That gave me the little confidence, like, okay, I could do this. Atlantic Bank, of course, helped me take the next step. Once I had their support, it was smooth sailing from there. This business is my life. It's literally what provides my family with food and employment. I employ 3 family members, so it's really everything for us.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
For decades, BEL has powered Belize's growth and progress, lighting homes, energizing industries, and fueling national development. But in a world reshaped by extreme weather patterns, digital transformation, and evolving customer needs, the future of energy demands a new approach. The future of energy is now, and it's not just about new technology, it's about people and how we use, manage, and store power smarter. BEL is leading the transformation, blending modern advancements with the wisdom of sustainable energy practices. Integrating technologies will redefine how Belize produces and uses energy. With distributed generation and smart grid technologies, customers are becoming power partners. Energy is no longer a one-way street. BEL is making key investments that will reinforce the grid to make this a reality, ensuring energy security for generations. At BEL, we are more than an energy provider. We work to safeguard Belize's energy future, which will have demand response programs, where customers will be able to shift use during peak hours to take advantage of the new time of use or off-peak rate structures. Customer energy portals, real-time insights and tools to track usage and manage energy smarter. Smart metering, advanced metering infrastructure, faster, safer service and actionable energy insights. Distributed generation, integrating rooftop solar, microgrids and battery storage for two-way power flows into the national grid. Together, we are bringing you a brighter tomorrow.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sun Up on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your nation station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Continuing with news that we reported earlier this week, the LIU work program was abruptly discontinued, that is, and displacing 523 people who are now without work. Well, today we finally spoke with the Prime Minister, John Briceño, about it. He said that the funds can be put to better use. Here's more.
What has happened is that it has come to our attention, I certainly was unaware of, that we're still using, millions of dollars to be able to pay individuals for them to be able to live a better lifestyle. I think that the LIU has had great success in mediation and intervention, but on the part where you start to, for want of a better word, reward people for what they behave, and they do so for a few weeks and then later they go and do something else, it's not working. I think that we need that money. We could put that money to better use. So as the CEO made the point that those funds that were given to individuals was never intended to be for long term. It should have been for 2-3 months, but it's ended up being for a long term. And so I think that monies could be used to equip the police. The police do not have enough equipment when they are fighting some of these same gang members or going after people that are involved in drugs or that, to rob somebody or whatever. And then we have the police officers in many instances putting their lives on the line because they don't have the proper tools and equipment to be able to protect themselves. So I think, personally, I think we could use some of that money to be able to beef up the police department to be able to protect you and all of us as citizens. But again, as to the LIU, it's not that we're going to close everything. Certainly the part of mediation and intervention and certain programs can still continue. We should still continue that.
So what I've understood is that it's been put on pause so that they can analyze it and go back to the drawing board per se. But the reality is that 523 persons are currently displaced. And this might have major effects on Belize City, not only the livelihood of these persons, but also the crime rate. Is this a point of concern for your government?
Well, absolutely not, because it was never intended for them to stay there permanently. And it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And I'm sure that most Belizeans will be outraged when you find out, it's about $3 million per year. We've been in government for going to 6 years at $18 million. You could answer yourself.
And with violence still very much an issue, what about the North, where there was a narco execution this week? We saw the murder of Roger Escalante, which police have confirmed is drug-related. The Prime Minister spoke about establishing a northern fortress to suppress narco violence. Here's more.
I remember in early 2021, in my first meeting with the officials at the U.S. Embassy, and they asked me, so what is it that keeps you up at night? And I said, incursions of the narcos in Belize. Should they ever come into Belize, it would be impossible to get them out. And so that is why now we have the Northern Fortress in place. We're spending millions of dollars to ensure that we can stop all of this. And I think we've had a lot of success in it. There are going to be murders? Yes, unfortunately. When you're in the drug trade, that is going to happen, where people start to fight over turf or payday or whatever it is. But on this one, I can't say whether it was a narco kill or hit or whatever it is. But yes, obviously he was in some kind of illegal activity and he got killed. I hope that we can. Well, we do plan to do our best to be able to solve that. And if you notice, we need to commend the police that most of the murders have been solved. That we're getting most of these people that have been committing murder.
We also asked the Prime Minister about Elvin Penner and the BDF explosive materials he was found with. And according to Penner, what prompted him to go there was a bushfire on private lands. Well, today, the Prime Minister says that those lands should not be anyone's private property, and the BDF and British Army used it, and there can still be bombs in the area.
Large swaths of that land was land that the BDF and the British Army used. That land is kind of dangerous because there are still bombs there that did not explode, and and they go into the ground, and you can't see it, and it's grown, bush cover it up and all that kind of thing. Those lands should not be sold. They should not be put out there to market internationally, and then you have investors that do not know better, thinking that they're buying a nice piece of land in a nice area because the Valbican, it's beautiful. And then to come and find out that there could be a bomb in the land that you bought, I think it's kind of, unethical, and that should have never happened. And I wish we could find a way how we can get that land again and put it back into conservation. But then that will, Mr. Penner and his investors would want untold millions of dollars should we do that. But we need to find what can be done about it.
Would you be able to confirm if that area is still labeled as the BDF training area, even though private lands is in the middle of it?
Well, it still is, but what we have to do, the BDF is, I think, if they can't continue to operate there, they'll have to find somewhere else. And a lot of times they shoot live ammunition in that area, and if you have civilians walking in that area, they could get hurt, or God forbid, could get killed. So, unfortunately, we may need to find another area where they can go and operate. And I think it's shameful that the previous government allowed that.
And the Prime Minister maintains that Penner, the former UDP politician, was irresponsible and reckless. We countered that perhaps the BDF was not careful enough in their undertaking, but here's that exchange in detail.
I think that Elvin Penner, from what we've seen, the videos and what we're told, was reckless in taking. What I was told by the people on the BDF, if you would have traveled maybe a few miles down, that could have exploded and he could have been dead. And he should know better. He should know better.
I spoke with Mr. Penner, and one of his arguments was that the sparks that were letting out while they were detonating these bombs, that started a fire. He owned some properties around there along with other individuals, and their concern was that the forest is on fire. We have pictures of it, we've seen videos, and it was on fire. Would you be able to comment on that? Should the BDF have been more responsible?
I can't really comment, but more than just to say that one of the discussions that we had in cabinet over the forest fires, and the minister Habib brought it up that whenever we're going to do any such action, that we have to ensure that all the different departments are present, Department of Environment, NEMO, the fire department, the BDF, everybody that's necessary to ensure that these things don't happen. But sometimes you plan and they're telling you there's going to be no wind, all of a sudden wind comes and you've already started the detonation. So there's always room for improvement, but that does not remove the fact or negates what it seems that Mr. Penner did, to be able to remove things. These are dangerous materials or bomb that could have created havoc and killed a lot of people.
What he did was extremely responsible. We accept that. And so we accept that. But a part of it was that how is it possible that a civilian like Penner could have gained access to that area so easily?
Well, it's that because the whole area is open. The entire, when you drive around, you don't have fencing. It's open. So But as a responsible individual, you should know better.
Meanwhile, in other news, as we have been reporting, the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Public Service have been at odds over transfers. The Ministry of Finance is insisting on making certain transfers of customs officers, while the Ministry of Public Service has put a stop on all transfers. Well, today, the Prime Minister clearly didn't want to talk about it, but said this transfer will proceed.
Well, I've had a discussion with Minister Osha, and I think now he appreciates what is it that we're trying to do. So the transfers in the Ministry of in Customs will proceed.
Did the public service counter the Ministry of Finance? The decision. Did they countermand it?
Well, it's going to happen.
As the investigation into hundreds of thousands of dollars in missing money at the Belize City Immigration Department continues. We pressed the Prime Minister also, and as he was the minister at the time this all started. Here's what he said in his own defense.
The update is the same. It's under investigation. The person that is involved was quite creative in canceling receipts. But more than that, I don't think I should comment because the police is investigating. And I know the media trying to make a story of it. Well, nobody is charged yet. Police. It takes a long time to investigate to make sure that you have a good case, because if you don't, when you go to court, they get these good defense lawyers and they find one misstep and say, oh, you have to throw the case. So we need to be careful. We have to ensure that when we go to court, we have next to foolproof case.
So this started when you were still minister there. Do you believe that you should take some form of accountability for that?
Well, I think that the elections was in 2005 in March, and I don't know when in 2025, if it started in January, February, March, we don't know yet. So I think it's premature to say something like that. But at the end of the day, as the Prime Minister, I have to take responsibility for everything that happens within the government. So yes, if you want me to say that, yes, I'll take responsibility, at the end of the day, it's my responsibility as the Prime Minister. But what's more importantly, what we need to do is to be able to learn from these errors. We put so much in place and so many check and balances. But if we're not checking the check and balances, then this happens because there's a supervisor, and the supervisor should be checking every day. And if a supervisor was checking and say, hold on, why is it that this individual have so many cancellations of receipts? That alone should be a red light. But I believe, though, as we're going into more digitizing the system, I think we'll be able to pick up these things faster. That's why in some instances you have some members within the service that are not too enthused about digitization, because digitization is leave a stamp. You could always check back. It creates more efficiencies, but also more accountability. And so it's more difficult to be able to do things like this.
We also asked the Prime Minister about Cabinet's decision to implement a temporary 6-month moratorium on the approval and construction of buildings exceeding 45 feet in height and or greater than 3 floors within Key-Cocker Village, Hopkins Village, the Placencia Peninsula, and City River Village. But there has also been a call for a moratorium on dredging to protect marine and coastal areas. But the Prime Minister says that one already exists. Here's more.
We have already put in a moratorium in through the Ministry of Housing and also physical planning, and them that we want to stop. We will not be giving out any new permits as it is until we can really determine what kind of development we want in these areas, especially more sensitive areas, the Placencia Peninsula, I think Hopkins, San Pedro, Key-Cocker. I met with Wilderness. It's a very important NGO recognized worldwide for their high-end tourism, but also protection. And they want to work down in the Sapodilla, key areas. And they were saying they're working with Scripps. It's again a very important research facility of the United States that is they're starting to want to partner with UV, and making the point that in that area they're starting to see some development starting to come up, and they're saying, we need to take a look at. So I was saying, yes, I think we'll have to ask the department or the Ministry of Sustainable Development to take a look and see, hold on, let's put a pause over here. Let's see what we need to protect. And so, yes, I think that there is some justification, but also it has to be balanced. It has to be measured. We just can't go to the extreme.
We also asked the Prime Minister about increasing electricity bills. Many consumers report that their light bills have soared. The Prime Minister put on his engineering hat and said the culprit is increased usage and not billing.
Well, I had discussed that with the former CEO, Mr. Mencias. What happens is that when it is hot, people use more electricity. People that put on the fan for longer periods, or the fridge and you open it every minute, or if they have an AC, they make it work longer. So obviously, apart from that, there was a slight increase in rates. You use more during when it's very hot. When it's not hot, you don't need to use your AC, or you don't have to put on a fan. You drink cool water every minute, so there's more usage. And another good example was I remember when BWSL upgraded its pumping system and the water flows, and so within the city, for some people water bill gone up, but it gone up because you don't have enough pressure when you open it. It come out, but then it come out with pressure. Now when you open it, come out with pressure, so more water come out, and so you end up to use more water. So basically, that's it. There's no nefarious plan that that BL have somehow with a magic wand managed to increase all of the meters to go up to be able to charge you more. It's simply because it's hotter and people have to use more electricity.
Now turning our attention to health news. Belize health authorities are ramping up screening measures across all border checkpoints, airports, and seaports in response to an ongoing Ebola outbreak in East and Central Africa. The Ministry of Health and Wellness issued a public advisory today confirming that while there are currently no suspected cases of the virus within the country, it is initiating heightened public health vigilance as a strict precautionary measure. The government emphasizes that the immediate risk to the public remains low. However, to prevent any potential introduction of the virus, the ministry is actively coordinating a multi-agency response. Working alongside Immigration and Customs, the Belize Airport Authority, Border Management, Civil Aviation, Commercial Airlines, and Cruise Lines to strengthen arrival screening and emergency response protocols. The ministry has instructed anyone who has recently traveled to an affected area and begins experiencing symptoms to avoid close contact with others and immediately call the official hotline and the health hotline at 0800-MOH-CARE. That's 0800-MOH-CARE for you to arrange safe medical evaluation. And stay tuned, we take another break now, but when we come back, the former CEO of the National Bus Company tells us why she stepped down after 3 months. Stay tuned.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
The Concerned Belizean Women is back with our dynamic fundraiser and pageant, Miss African Queen 2026. Come out Saturday, May 30th at 8 p.m. at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts and experience the elegance, the excellence, and empowerment of our beautiful daughters of Africa.
Natural beauty,
Tickets are available from the contestants and at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. So come out and celebrate and remember your African heritage and experience a fun-filled evening of music, dance, and entertainment as you witness the crowning of Belize's very own Miss African Queen 2026.
You're up.
These charter remains aren't from
We're
an
navigating along the coastline.
This morning,
of
the
northern
2023.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Sharice Houghton,
And here's what's ahead for you on 7 News Tonight. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Craft.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
The biggest tournament requires the ultimate streaming experience with NextGen TV. Win with NextGen. Pay your bill or sign up for a NextGen bundle plan for a chance to win a 43, 55, or up to 65-inch smart TV bundle, a brand new soundbar, and many more prizes. Get ready to witness football history being made with NextGen. Not a NextGen TV subscriber yet? Contact us to subscribe today. NextGen TV, your stadium at home.
People don't travel with cash anymore. People would stop and they want to do a coffee tour, they want to buy coffee, but people don't have cash with them. Online banking facilitated a lot of what we do. I don't have to run to town and I have to use fuel and other expenses. Atlantic Bank actually approached us. They facilitated us with a bank account, which is something that we didn't have in hand, and then with a POS machine. I sit and sip my good cup of coffee and do payments.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Play Tune Marketing and Road Boy presents Road Boy Ultra Fest 2026.
Sit down, she want your back. She bang, she want that.
Saturday, May 30th at Belize Airport Authority in Belize City. Hosted by the energetic international Noah Power. Opening act by the Soca Princess herself, Nyla Batman.
I've been patient and I've been waiting.
And the main event out of Jamaica with all the dancehall hits, Valiant.
Come here, make me give you one quick roll. Touch up, call my name, some girl only pretty pan Holly.
Valiant.
Hey,
Valiant.
Speechless. I feel make her catch a deep breath. She said,
it's Rude Boy Ultra Fest 2026, Saturday, May 30th.
Put a little pressure on me and so you're brawling. Tabadine.
Road Boy Ultra Fest 2026.
Member only at 2 p.m. sharp at the Belize Civic. Over 67,000 member owners, $876.1 million in total assets, in total surplus. And this year, an impressive $26.7 million will be returned to member owners through dividends and rebates. Remember, to enter the venue, you must present your HRCU passbook and a valid ID. See you at the 82nd AGM of HRCU, Saturday, May 30th, 2 p.m. sharp at the Civic Center. Holy Redeemer Credit Union, making a difference in people's lives.
Save, save, save. It will make you rich someday.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
We continue our newscast with one of our top stories where Susanna Vanzi, the former CEO at the National Bus Company, resigned on May 18th at the end of her probationary period. Well, today we asked her why. Vanzi said that it was always something that she knew she could not fully commit to. Here's more.
You know, that position, when I took it on, it was at all agreed with the minister that it would be an interim. And if you look back at the earlier announcements, he had mentioned that it was interim. So I think a lot of people missed that. And it came to a surprise to a lot. And I think people came to their own conclusions, right? But I have been in the bus industry, you know, as an operator. And also I'm a shareholder in the company. And so when I was asked if I would participate as CEO, I jumped on it because I wanted to be a part of making this a reality. And I know how difficult the first few months of starting any business can be, you know, and something of this magnitude with people coming from, again, expectations, right? Different people having different expectations. You need to know the path and to have the strength to continue on that path, despite a lot of the noise that comes with something new and something that can be so politically polarizing. So I wanted to honestly give my pound of flesh, and you know, so I did. I knew early on that I wasn't going to be able to commit long term, and because I have other responsibilities. But for the time that I was there, I literally, the minute I was asked, I dropped everything because there was no half in, half out. I mean, the magnitude of this is tremendous, and I think oftentimes people don't see the other side of the level of work that's required. I know that what we see on the street might not be the most glamorous or the prettier side of things, but I think, like I had mentioned when you and I had spoken, you have to start somewhere, and we do have a plan, and we do have a vision for where we want to go, and these are some growing pains, but we'll get through it.
Do you believe in the possibilities of the company?
I do. I strongly believe in the possibilities. As a shareholder, that wasn't an automatic thing. You had a choice. You could remain as a shareholder, or you could, cash out and leave. And my brother and I decided to remain a shareholder because in the concept and in the company. Your question regarding having seen the challenges, we inherited a fleet of various brands, various I don't want to say ages in mechanical issues, but also the ages of the buses. I don't know what we call it, right? And so just taking that into consideration, I mean, you've got 6-7 different brands of buses or even more. Some are 20 years old, some are 6 years old, some are 30 years old. And the challenges that come with that, having inherited that, I also think that perhaps as operators, I have to say, I think we could have done a better job of communicating to our staff of what was taking place, because I think you've probably heard some of the concerns. I mean, I've heard it of the staff, where they feel a little bit excluded. I think that's the word that I've heard, So I think I feel like as operators, because we were there walking along this process, I think we could have communicated a little bit better to them prior to NBC coming into place.
Meanwhile, in other news, the Friends for Development and Conservation now have a new ranger base after years of being at Tapir Camp. It's part of the FCD team's big dream for conservation, and they needed this new space to make it happen. Jaliza Roberts attended the opening ceremony and files this report.
Today, the Friends for Conservation and Development Ranger Base was officially relocated to an area adjacent to the Guacamayo Bridge. This will help them to continue their research in the Chiquibowl National Park and Mountain Pine Ridge area. The president of the SCD board explained why the move was necessary.
The move was necessary. That was it. It took a while, so now I have to go back to my memory bank. That was maybe about it was like a 2 to 3 year process. And it was more in terms of, I think the department was wanting to align certain things so that, FCD is more within the park and not necessarily in the reserve. And the Tapir Camp is in the reserve. And so I think it came from that, down from there. And so we just had to work through the whole process.
And while alignment is one issue, the Prime Minister spoke over the constant threats over the past few years.
One of the biggest one is human encroachment, which creates the biggest problems. Not only because they would clear up, say, 5 acres of land to be able to develop, but in many instances they would light fire to clean it up. And then you see the fire would escape from them. And then you have thousands of acres being destroyed. In my flight here, there are many areas that where there were pine trees, now there are fern. There's fern, because the fern grows faster than the pine trees, so you overcome after a fire. So it overcomes the pine trees, and so the pine trees can't grow. And for us to be able to fix that, then I think you probably have to do it manually, whereby you already have the seedlings, and you clear up an area, and then you put it, because then they're taller than the fern tree. So these are some of the challenges. And when you think about the importance of water, this is the most important watershed that we have in the country. We have to ensure, we have to find ways to be able to protect it, because it's, somebody in Belize City, they open the tap and they get water, and they don't think about where that water comes. And a lot of that water comes right here out of the Chiquibol.
Executive Director Rafael Manzanero is requesting help from regulatory agencies to have FCD create a finance-generating mechanism.
I basically am requesting from the regulatory agencies to assist us, to enable us, and to work with us to develop a finance, generating mechanism and a generating stream. That will help sustain the ongoing work of FCD. The park manager has described that we have contained and are on a road to the recovery of the park, but there is yet so much to be done in terms of addressing threats. Because we operate in public lands, we can only do activities with the government support and endorsement. We have all the energy to explore and discuss with the agencies any viable possibilities. We have been asked for more than 10 years, particularly from PAC, who have always been with us, that we need to identify a generating stream. And so we want to do it along with the agencies, like what I mentioned. These are public lands PM, so we do need that support and endorsement if we are going to pursue any of those streams of finances. My other recommendation is the need for revisiting the Sustainable Development Plan for the region. The area has changed, as how you can see. And there are new challenges being faced. If we are to develop this area as an economic node, the area must be secured not only from Guatemalans, but also from within Belize. We are observing a higher number of visitors in these areas, and of course, garbage and wildlife kills will also, or are prone to also increase.
Jaliza Roberts, 7 News.
And the Prime Minister also spoke about the difficult balance between the push environmental protection and investments in the development of pristine areas. Here's how he framed it.
That is always a challenge. We as a country, we have to develop. I mean, we have to create jobs, we have to create opportunities for people so they could live a better life. But that does not mean that we have to destroy what we have. And so that has to be a better appreciation of what we have. And in many instances, developers don't think that through. I've had many meetings with developers, and I always tell them, you need to think about the area that you're going to be working, because sometimes some area it's a floodplain, and so you put your investment there, and then you lose it. Other areas, it is not the best place for agriculture. So that is where the Ministry of Sustainable Development could partner with you to make sure that what you're doing is done properly. But apart from that, and as I said earlier, I think it's really time to be able to pass either legislation or policy that would prevent people in development in agriculture that a certain percentage of the land must be kept in its natural state. I remember when I was the minister back then for lands, and a lot of people say, oh, I got 50 acres, I want to develop it for agriculture, I want a clean cut permit. And then they take the clean cut permit, cut down all of the trees, and then they know nothing with the land. So it's obviously they only wanted to sell the land, so the trees or the logs. And so that is a practice I think that we need to stop as much as we possibly can. It's only when you have a real plan that we should be able to allow you to do that, and then also that a certain percentage has to be protected in its natural state. So when you think on all of these things, they are challenges, they are serious challenges, but I believe that more and more Belizeans are becoming more aware of development versus conservation. More and more you hear Belizeans are calling out the Forestry Department or calling out the Department of Environment to say, hey, somebody to do something right here. I don't know if they have the permits, and in many instances they do have, but they just a call to make sure that these people are following the law. So again, it has to be a joint effort. It's not just government by itself or even the NGO community or the developers, but even the public at large. Also, we have to create a bigger or a more conscious awareness of what is at stake.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health and Wellness held a National Tobacco Youth Forum today in partnership with PAHO. This was in observance of World No Tobacco Day. The theme for this year is unmasking the appealing countering nicotine and tobacco addiction. The event featured panelists like Miss Earth 2021, Destiny Wagner, along with social workers, school guidance counselors as well. Jo Marie Lanza reports.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness is teaming up with PAHO to tackle youth tobacco use for World No Tobacco Day. As part of its commitment to the Framework Convention of Tobacco Control, the ministry is hosting a special youth panel discussion. Organizers say the goal is to give young people a platform to voice their experiences and drive awareness about the dangers of smoking and vaping.
So World No Tobacco Day is an event from the World Health Organization and the Framework Convention on Tobacco Control. The Pan American Health Organization, being the regional arm of the WHO, has been providing technical support to the Ministry of Health for many, many years on implementation of the Framework Convention on Tobacco Control. So the evidence is very clear that tobacco use is very harmful to the health. And the evidence is very strong that there's a causative effect, that smoking tobacco causes illness. And so PAHO has been partnering with the Ministry of Health to provide a technical cooperation to really increase awareness and knowledge about the tobacco industry and the tactics that they use, the harmful effects of tobacco. And more importantly, we have been partnering with the Ministry of Health to provide the support for the tobacco bill that is now before the House of Representatives for debate.
The data is indeed concerning, and by a survey conducted by the National Drug Abuse Control Council, most of the usage is occurring among young women. According to VEOS, this is happening because younger persons are being bombarded with new tobacco gateways, from vapes to hookahs.
In this instance for this year, because of the need of ensuring that our younger population will be able to get that information readily available, the Ministry of Health and Wellness partnered with the Pan American Health Organization to be able to come up with a youth forum. And this youth forum is specifically targeted to providing that information to the younger population in terms of the dangers of tobacco when it comes to nicotine, as well as the dangers of new and emerging products such as vapes, hookahs, and electronic cigarettes, right? Because our recent Global Youth Tobacco Survey that we did in 2024 has demonstrated to us that more younger population is consuming these substances, and the industry itself is marketing these substances in a way that the younger population would gravitate around them and would consume more of it, right? So therefore, the Ministry of Health and Wellness is very much in that process of ensuring that the younger population would have that information and at the same time would be able to use that information wisely to make the right choices in life.
And what better way to encourage this by getting the youths involved? VEO says that the panel will continue in other districts as well.
This Youth Tobacco Forum is one of many youth forums that we'll be having countrywide. Our next stop will be in the Orange Rock and Corozal district, where we will be providing these types of forums so that every young person in this country has an opportunity not only to know about the dangers of tobacco products, but also to voice their opinions as to what needs to be done as a country in reference to how we can go about protecting their lives, right? As well, we'll be doing a series of sensitization session, which is general population. Again, we're starting in Orange Rock. So that we would be able to have the general population know about not only the work that the ministry is doing, but also about the dangers of tobacco products.
Jo Marie Lanza, 7 News.
And another way the Ministry of Health and Wellness is taking action is through the tobacco bill that was tabled in the House of Representatives in October of 2025. But since the bill was presented with much fanfare over a year ago, it has stalled in the House. Reports suggest that well-connected tobacco interests are trying to kill it. But the NDACC's director remains optimistic.
And as you may all know, the tobacco bill has been a bill that we've been working for quite some time. Again, this bill looks at protecting the lives, but at the same time ensuring that every single Belizean have access to cessation services within the Ministry of Health and the wider public health system. The bill has, as you rightly said, has gone through the process of being approved by the cabinet. It has been elevated to the House of Representatives. It was read for the first time last year. We are preparing ourselves for it to be read for the second time in the National Assembly. We're hoping that it will be done before the end of this year. And again, it's a process that needs to follow. And one of the good things about this bill, since it is a bill that protects the lives of people, it's something that it has to be done carefully, but at the same time, it has to ensure that it protects, it does what it needs to do, protect the people of our country.
Meanwhile, Horizon Academy held its annual expo today under the theme, Kids at Work. The expo's purpose is to teach students about financial literacy and encouraging them to develop a business idea and market to attending guests. We saw baked goods, treats, and handcrafted designs. One of the teachers told us more about it in detail.
So today we are having our annual Kids at Work Expo. This is the 8th year that we're having this expo. And basically it's just to teach, we teach our kids financial literacy at a young age. And so that is what you're experiencing, right? So through all the teachings and practices that we have been doing within the classroom, today you guys actually get a chance to see it outside. Each class comes up with a business, and they have to showcase the items that they produce, for that business. So we have businesses here with several items. For example, my business, it's Blossom Delight, and the slogan is the treat corner, because we have several treats over that side, right? So we have 3 products that I'm showcasing this year. It's sugar scrubs, we have snow cones, and we have crazy corn. Right? And all of these were kids' ideas, and I just combined them and created as one. So the teachers are just helping basically. I mean, for the little ones, the teacher will have to take lead. But for the older kids, definitely they do their thing. It's their business, right? So it's about making a profit today. So everybody is working really hard to ensure that that profit is being made.
And before we close tonight, 2 items of note. First, the price of a gallon of diesel fuel is going up by 35 cents at midnight tonight. You heard us right, folks. Second, there will be an emergency power outage tomorrow, Saturday, May 30th, from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. And it is to affect the entire Belize district. BEL says it has to urgently replace transmission power line equipment at the Westlake substation. And that's all we have for you on 7 News on this Friday night. Thank you so much for watching. I am Miriam Abdul-Kawi. You can access a full transcript of the news at 7newsbelize.com and see the streaming video on our Facebook or YouTube pages. Have a good night and a great weekend, and join us back here on Monday night. Have a good night, folks, and charge those cell phones.